Jungle Girls started in 2016, like we all know, and we've really grown, especially in Nigeria. So it's like an explosion. From Nigeria, I went on to, most of you went on to organize in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire, or was it Cotonou? So it was Cotonou. And because of Lagos and because of everyone here, one way or the other, you kind of spread that word outside of Nigeria to neighboring countries, which is amazing.
Good afternoon. My name is Anna Makarudze. I am currently working for DjangoGirls Foundation as the fundraising coordinator. So I do fundraising for the charity DjangoGirls Foundation that enables you to organize events here in Africa. So my main role is to ensure that DjangoGirls has got funds to pay for services such as hosting, accounting services, and to pay staff costs, which include myself and Claire, which are our awesomeness ambassador, and other costs that we incur in keeping the foundation running. So that's my main job. I also maintain the website for DjangoGirls. So we are here to discuss on how we can organize events in Africa and still ensuring that DjangoGirls Foundation is still sustainable, because what enables us to organize events is that DjangoGirls is still running and enabling us to have custom websites at djangogirls.org, as well as having the email services that we use and other services that we use courtesy of DjangoGirls. So while it is important for us to organize events here in Africa and globally, we also need to ensure that the infrastructure that we are using is also sustainable. So that's why we are currently having this discussion.
While we've had a lot of successes, we've had some, you know how we're Nigerians and things go wrong and somebody gives us a bad name, and all of a sudden something that was supposed to be so great has turned to, like, I don't know, it just becomes terrible. Like, the aim of the organization is to provide or to help women get into technology, to introduce women into software development, right? Which is awesome, but there are now like rules and regulations. These rules are there because just like anything, when it starts out small, everything works out well. But as it grows, it becomes chaotic. A lot of people with different motives coming to organize events. And so I'll give you an example of what has happened. So because of somebody that is an organizer for, especially it was like in Nigeria, organizing an event, Python Software Foundation, literally because of that event or that person, Python Software Foundation have now limited giving out funds to any organizer in any state twice. You can't apply more than twice in a year. So meaning if I'm from Edo State, for example, and I want to have 3 or 4 DjangoGirls events in a year, I can't apply for, PSF would not give me money more than twice. And that has to be spaced 6 months. So meaning if I apply in January, the next time I can apply is in July. And not just for us now, they've extended this to all DjangoGirls events across the world. Meaning that whatever we do has a direct impact on the larger community. Yeah, because it's like they are also learning. These funds are not limitless, right? So these are the things, these are like difficult conversations that we need to have. And we're here today to say, you know what, and I'm sure if somebody applied recently, your application would have gotten rejected, because we're trying to sort out the entire, like the issues that we're having is what we're trying to sort out. And that's why nobody is accepting any application from Africa right now. So if you submit an application to organize an event in December right now, it will get rejected. So we're not accepting it. Even if your event is, you're applying now against January or February, it's not going to get accepted because there's a lot we're trying to figure out. So we've had, you know how we are ambassadors of Nigeria, and Nigeria on its own has a negative connotation. So, I mean, one of the things that we do, which is great, is that we've been redeeming our image. You know, all Nigerians are not princes or, you know, have oil wells. All Nigerians are not trying to scam the system, you know. And we've been successful at doing that, but still, we still have issues. And that is actually normal, it's expected, because we've grown more than what it was. It started out how many events, Anna? we started out having just 1, 2, 3 events in a year, and all of a sudden we've done almost more than 50 across the country in a year, right? So it's really grown big. So now there are rules where we say, okay, which was why you would have seen now that there are now rules, right? So rules for if you organize now, you need to wait 3 months before you apply to organize the next one. And now that has been cut short because the PSF is not giving, nobody is really, like Nigerian companies are not very supportive with sponsoring us. PSF is a major source of sponsorship. Django Software Foundation. So if this organization says they're pulling out, it's like, where do we get the money to organize these events? Things like that. So it's a really difficult conversation to have. Money is a very, very difficult topic to talk about. That's why Anna is here.
All right. What we need to understand is it's not only the PSF which has made new regulations. There are also other sponsors, but not the GSF. Okay. Please separate my roles, the GSF director and DjangoGirls Foundation here. But the point is, there are also other sponsors whom we have been approaching, who feel like the events are now being done as a way of raising income instead of teaching or introducing women to coding. And I've also had some organizers talking to me in my Slack, sort of like there are certain states maybe who do follow-up events but still use the DjangoGirls name. So at least there's no problem of using, okay, you can use DjangoGirls, I think, to introduce women to coding for the first time. But if you are going to organize follow-up events, I think it's easier if you just call it a pilot something, then you get funding as pilots and not as DjangoGirls. That means you will not affect other Nigerian organizers who want to organize a DjangoGirls. Because if your event is going to be called the DjangoGirls a few months after and you say it's a follow-up event, it means people are going to think it's a bit dubious. So we are trying to find out, maybe we need to find out also from you so that Aisha and I just don't do the talking. How best can we manage this? Africa, not just Nigeria, but Africa as a whole doesn't get blocked from organizing events because people think we are making a living out of something that is supposed to be non-profit.
Yeah, so we don't want to, we want notes.
But I noticed that it's like the aim of DjangoGirls is not always fulfilled. And reading through the website, taking a lot of notes, it should be to inspire women to code, and that's all. So when I'm inspiring women to code in Oyo State, people come to ask me, when I started doing DjangoGirls here, I'm like, this is not a yearly event. I've done it here. You are inspired. All you should do is to start organizing trainings for other people. It doesn't have to be DjangoGirls. So many people don't understand this fact. They just feel like it's something that people make money from. So we can do it annually, we can do it. So there should be like rules. And another thing I noticed is that there's no age to it, right? Anybody can come into it. But there should be a sustainability. Some people just come in because they want to be part of it. They want people to know that I'm a DjangoGirls organizer, right? But they don't have a particular aim. They don't have something to achieve from it. If there should be like a scrutinization for anybody that wants to organize, maybe they have to go through Skype calls. Let's know what they're up to. What do you do? Like, what is not the filling of form. Anybody can fill form for anybody, then submit, and another person gets the money and organize trash. If you have to visit some event, you'll be like, what's this? Like, this is not how we met it. This is not how it was done in 2016. So all that, if there could be my monitoring, like when a PSF member from Lagos can visit events to see the way so they can get feedback by themselves and be able to call the organizer that this is not what you're supposed to use the money for. And then accountability. When people spend money and they can give feedback of the money they spent, not particularly that the exact maybe receipts, but tell us how the money went. Some people don't feel like they need to return funds. I was telling her that when we did DjangoGirls to promotion in 2016, we gave the funds to another event that was coming up. The remaining, that's how it should be. It should not be your own money. It should be to support other people. So if they have those knowledge, I think it will help a little bit. That's what I have to say.
So that's like very, very valid points. Like when you have money left, you want to move it to another event or keep it for your next event as a, so instead of, by the time so how it works is when you get money and let's say you use 100K and
Also manageable. Remember, Aisha is doing this on a volunteer basis, and also Claire, the other one who approves workshops, who relies on Aisha. She works part-time. She doesn't work full-time for DjangoGirls, so she only puts in a few hours. So as DjangoGirls, we really don't have the capacity to support all those events taking place within a short time. So isn't it possible for you to collaborate and hold bigger events instead of having fewer and more frequent events? So it's a question that I'm asking you as Nigerian organizers.
so I'll just add one more thing. If you notice before, we used to have city, DjangoGirls City, where we say DjangoGirls Ikeja, DjangoGirls Victoria Island. But we changed that and we said it's now DjangoGirls Lagos. These are one of the things, and we might need to shrink it a bit further. Maybe DjangoGirls Southeast, maybe like Southeast to the like 6 geopolitical zones, just so that we have like more impactful events rather than having be like a jack of all trades and not do anything substantial, right?
Yeah, so sometimes ago, mine is a contribution. Sometimes ago, we try to spin up a Python community in my school. So then me and a few other people who were Pythonistas I knew were proficient, we sat down together, we spoke that what was our goal, what we were trying to achieve, and how we were going to achieve that. So our major goal then was to see how could we use our skills to build solutions that would help us solve our problems and also help us build a good image of ourselves. So what we then did was, okay, majorly they teach Python in my school, but a lot of students that do it, they just do it because they want to do it and pass, but they do not really know. And I thought that this was a very, very good opportunity that we could expose people more that being a programmer, knowing how to program in Python is like having a superpower, so there is a lot they could do. So what we did then was, now I think then I spoke to iChooks about how do we get funds and not things like that. But besides then, we conducted like a week workshop, not asking for funds from anywhere, doing it all by ourselves. But what we did then was what we did literally was cut our codes to our size. So we brought everything down to what is it that we could. And we didn't have to do something big, like maybe do banners and stuff like that. We did like WhatsApp group broadcast, and there were people that volunteered. Then the thing held for like maybe 2 or 3 hours. We just bought maybe 15 naira biscuit and 1 pure water. There were about 20 attendants. So what we did majorly was, after stating out those things that we needed, because the real problem most of the time is not just money, but it is what exactly we are doing with money. So one of the things that we needed was we needed a location, we needed refreshments, we needed electricity and all that, and maybe some systems sometimes. So then we did some analysis. Since we didn't have money to take an event, getting a location might cost as much, maybe 40K or so. So we tried to look out, okay, which events which location could we pick that would be available without cost for us, and it would also be easy for the attendants to commute there. So after getting that, then we contributed amongst ourselves to get some refreshments. Then speaking to those amongst us, when will you be free, when will you be available, what can you take, what do you know best, how can you take those things? Then we did that, and then but what we did first, we didn't just go straight directly to the tutorial teaching Python. And so what we did first was talk about how technology has influenced the world, about things like security, about things like mobile app development, spoke about young people who, at the age of 17, were building apps that were changing the world and they were doing so much great things. So that was, at first, instilled their, made them motivated. Because all we wanted majorly, we didn't want so many people attending. We need someone who would just teach a little, would get the vibe and would push on himself from there and could continue with it. So that was majorly what we do. So I think we should try, rather than doing something big and rather than maybe doing it just one way, there are several different ways that we could do that same one thing and we're going to achieve it. So we should try leverage on other little resources that we might ignore, but they can be actually very, very useful.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's quite very valid because I'm going to give you an example, two examples. So I remember one event where it was one Jungle Girls Ibadan that happened. Was a completely new organizer. And that was before we started doing organizer mentors and all that. And basically, what happened was, I'm very sure he got funds from PSF for money. Do you know that this guy served kuli kuli and granite that day? And when he sent his report, because we started requiring that if you join an event, send a report. And when he sent his report, it was like, oh, the event was great, it was this. And I hardly ever really look at pictures because we tell them people to upload it on Flickr. But I don't know, like, oh, let me even see what happened, like first in Ibadan. And I was seeing kuli kuli on the table, and granite, and water. And like, where is the food? Where is the cupcake? What do you do with this money? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's going on here? But anyways, there are many different ways. So for example, instead of asking for money, you can approach companies to sponsor something. And they'll be happy to, tell Smile, come and give us free internet. Or tell, that caterer down the street that, you know what, can you give us, sponsor our men, right? Like, and they're always usually very happy to. So instead of the money they'll charge you with 1,000, they'll charge you 500 naira per person. And I think we also need to understand that the most important thing of a Jungle Girls event is not the food. That's happened in, I can say, 28 states. We've had Jungle Girls in maybe at least 28 states in Nigeria, and we've impacted more women than. So it's a ripple. So if I do it to you, you go and do it to your community. You're going to impact another 30 women. Those other 30 women will impact 30 women. It just goes completely. So there are ways we can keep things sustainable. We don't always have to ask for money, right? We can get people to do things for us. Oh, can you give us your free branded, maybe they made it during Christmas, free branded notebook. You are not using it, it's there collecting dust. Give us now, let me share to attendees on that day. So there are many different ways that we can be creative.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically I wanted to say thank you first of the work you girls are doing, and it's DjangoGirls is good, but I think, and I don't know, you tell me, but it's like it's tailored on a model, and I was like, why not creating a model just for Africa, and maybe trying to find how much does it cost and where to find sponsors, and instead of giving cupcakes, try to not kuli kuli, but something else, I don't know, local or whatever, but the money issue as well, because DjangoGirls, when you do it in the community, you're doing it for the community. So it's a bit sad that we are still waiting for money from the PSF and not from maybe local people. You can ask companies, but I think you can ask also, I don't know, maybe individual or maybe the local merchant, the local neighborhood guy. Maybe his girl wants to take part of DjangoGirls and stuff like that. So this was just my 2 cents. I don't know.
Good afternoon. My name is Timileyin. Okay, actually today I was talking to someone. Okay, I actually had it in mind that I was going to organize an event for DjangoGirls at Oshun. Basically, not Oshogbo now. Almost everybody here knows Oshogbo, but Ilesha. That was where I grew up. Okay, have known about all this programming since like when I was very young, and my mom was being supportive, all that, but quite unfortunate. I'm actually a fresh graduate of Lautech now, and not until 500 level, I didn't really get access to the things I really want to learn. We searched the whole of Ilesha at that time. There was no programming school. There was nowhere that we can learn there. And so I was like, if I'd actually gotten opportunity, then and all. But when I was speaking with the person, I was hearing a lot of news, like maybe some people, coaches, claims to understand the programs. And by the time they come, you just get to know that they can't deliver. I've attended 2 Django Girls as an attendee. Every time I always see coach, apply as a coach or attendee. Every time I want to apply as a coach, I tell myself the truth that I have not actually have what it takes to coach somebody. Because let me tell you that if I had gone by my 2 coaches that I've had, I would have given up. Reason is because, okay, to be sincere, I want to be sincere now, because to sustain it, the framework can be really scary to a beginner. And once your coach is a boring person, you are in soup. And a coach in programming is always boring because they don't really know what to do, or they have expression issues. Like maybe expressions issue. So when myself and the other person was talking, I was like, don't they do like maybe Skype interview, just like she said, and all like that? Not only for organizers now, ma, even for coaches, because it goes beyond the organizer. The organizer can use the money for what you want the organizer to use it for, but the aim here is to pass knowledge. So what is the use of a well-spent money when knowledge is not achieved? So, like, if it's possible, a platform where every knowledge claimed to have acquired can be tested. And also, for example, I organized Hour of Code for Microsoft. That was late last year in Ibadan. So I used a public school. I asked them, do you have a computer? All those. So they said they had it. But this is how Microsoft did it. They didn't invite people that said, even without one, they can't organize. So they ask you that, what if at the end of the day, you are not giving fund, can you still go ahead and do something? So based on that, if your no is no, and at the end of the day, my fund came in the day of the event, and I had plans already. I was making alternative plans because I was already in Ibadan. From Lagos to Ibadan, I've told my friends, colleagues to come from Ogbomoso to come and help me out in Ibadan. So I've told them, guys, there's nothing, no. Like, so even your TFE, I don't even know how to return it to you guys now. But we are imparting kits. We didn't spend too much time with them, but we allowed them to understand the reason why we're doing what we are doing. So if this process is request for receipt, yes, we are Nigerians. Receipt can be, yes. So, but at least is a form of measure, because if you are saying that trust, we may not end up doing anything. So.
Okay, so I want to say something about organizers that are organizing from different countries in another country. Like, there have been some occasions that I had to, they called me to coach, and when they realized that they're not even in the country, so they gave it to other people too. People that we don't even know. So there was a period that we were having a Django girl in a restaurant-like place. I don't know. So the environment was not conducive. So I think that should be looked. It was even they had to hurry us to leave. People were smoking around, so it was, and there was no even pre-installation party. So I think that should also be looked into. And I don't know about the days, 2 days, because most of the reports we get from students after some Django Girls events is that the days are not quite enough for them. Yeah, that's why this last one, I had to even start an online WhatsApp group class we had for a week before the main day. So I don't know if that number of days can be looked into, if it's possible. But for that organizer, I think that one is very, very important. Okay, we don't have time, and the next talk is supposed to start now. But yeah, thank you so much. This is something we should definitely look into. It's the same thing where organizers in one state want to organize in another state and don't have anybody there. And so it just becomes a total mess. So yes, we're definitely looking into that. I think I'm very grateful for the many insights we've received here today. It's been really insightful. What am I? Yeah.
I would like to thank you all for attending this session, and also to thank you for the work that you are doing. Despite everything else that's bad, you have been doing great work in the Python community here in Nigeria, as well as impacting women and children to learn programming. So don't be discouraged. Even if you want to hold an event and it's denied, don't be dismayed. You can still hold something. That's not called DjangoGirls. You can just have another event using another name, or pilots, or even without using another event, just creating your own name. And it doesn't have to be very flamboyant. What's important is impacting knowledge. So it might be very low cost or free without spending any money, just transport money. But what's important, remember, is imparting the knowledge of Python and Django to women, girls, and everybody else who might want to learn. So don't be discouraged. I would like to thank you all on behalf of DjangoGirls Foundation, as well as Django Software Foundation, for the work you are doing in Nigeria. I know you have got a high population, that's why you have so much going on, but we always admire you from Zimbabwe when we see all the work that's going on, especially with regards to tech. We can't compare with you because we are 14 million, which is less than only the Lagos population. So, but all the same, you are doing great work, especially in terms of tech, and I was really thrilled to see the work that you are doing here in Nigeria. So while there is all these DjangoGirls organizer issues, PyCon Nigeria also helped me see that there's still some genuine people here in Nigeria, women business, and who are doing great work to make Python a bigger and greater community. So thank you all for the work you are doing.